こんにちは。ドラゴンボールスーパーカードゲームプロデューサーバンダイの金子です。前回シリーズを展開している現行タイトルはマスターズという名称でこれからも展開していきます。引き続き2024年以降も継続展開し、チャンピオンシップの開催も予定しています。さらにパワーアップする商品展開に関してはまた別の機会にご紹介させていただく予定です。フュージョンワールドと名付けられたこのタイトルはより直感的なカードバトルが楽しめる新しい環境です。それでは早速新しく始まるドラゴンボールスーパーカードゲームフュージョンワールドについてご紹介します。フュージョンワールドのポイントは大きく3つあります。今もプレイしてくれている方だけでなく、これから始めようと思ってくださっている方も楽しめるスピード感あふれるゲーム体験を目指します。フュージョンワールドはカードデザインも大幅リニューアル。新しいゲームデザインに合わせて情報が洗練されたカードとして開発を進めています。ご期待ください。我々はこれまで積み上げてきたドラゴンボールスーパーカードゲームをよりエキサイティングなものにしたいと考えています。そのためにプレイヤーのニーズに応えられる2つのゲーム環境、マスターズとフュージョンワールドを制作することを決定いたしました。どちらのタイトルも等しく熱意を持って開発していきます。より多くのファンの皆様にドラゴンボールスーパーカードゲームを楽しんでいただけることを確信しています。
What is going on, my shiny cardboard enthusiast? What? Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we are going to be discussing the big, huge information that was dropped yesterday. I literally was going to make a video on it, but I was just so overwhelmed and flabbergasted that I literally just had to wait a whole day and let it marinate. I did also have a trailer review reaction for Zenkai Series 5. I will have that up tomorrow. But I and my buddy Matches Peaches will be featured in that. But anyway, about all this news that was dropped. So, if you guys didn't hear, I'm sure you guys probably did, because everybody and their mama is talking about it. But we have officially been told that the Dragon Ball Super card game will officially be rebranded as Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters. And in February 2024, on February 16th, we will be getting the first ever of its kind Dragon Ball Super card game, Fusion Worlds, which is going to be pretty much the new Dragon Ball Super card game, in a way, rebranded, resetted, whatever you want to call it. And there will also be a digital version coming alongside that new title as well. So there's a lot to talk about in this video. I'm probably not going to edit it too heavily just because I kind of just want to get it out, because I know a lot of you guys want to hear my thoughts on this, and I will say this is it's it's a little ridiculous. I don't really understand. Now, please hear me out before you go down commenting something, so I'll probably answer one of your questions if you just watch the video. So first thing I want to talk about is Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters. You know, the one that we currently have right now. We are still getting Zenkai Series 5 and Zenkai Series 6 this year. Nothing has really been said outside of the set that we're getting this December. So, you know, in the video that I had in the intro and stuff, you guys can go check that out. I'll hopefully remember to leave it down in the description where the producer is talking about everything, and you guys can get, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to use for the bit in the beginning, but you know, definitely go check out that video if you guys want to after this one, because, you know, he kind of talks about everything, but I can give you like a quick kind of summary about it all. So the majority of meat of it, of most people what are talking about, is, I know I said that weird, it's going to bug me, I have to address it. But so the big thing that everyone is talking about is Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters will not be getting a digital version. There will not be no digital version of this current version of the card game as we know it, because the producers were saying that with all the errata cards that are banned, and, you know, some certain cards just had like certain, you know, effects and mechanics that they were really having trouble implementing and putting into the game. And it turns out that it was just too challenging and, you know, just too much of a hassle. So they just roughly decided, hey, we're going to just start a completely new card game, and we'll make a digital client for that, and we can just drop them both at the same time, so then people will have a digital version and a physical version of the same card game, and they can play them simultaneously, and they'll both be the same game, because apparently the trouble with Masters digitally was, all the things I mentioned before, plus they also mentioned how some, regions and countries do not have, the Dragon Ball Super card game in their area, so a digital version being accessible to them, and they were saying how people here, in the United States and stuff like that, and everywhere else that has access to the Dragon Ball Super card game digital version and physical version, or I guess just the physical version, my apologies, and how they've had more time with the game, and they understand how it's played, and their skill level would be much higher, compared to people who are just now receiving the game and it's their first time playing. There'll eventually be like a big gap, and they say that, blah blah blah, all this and that, which at the same time I understand what they're saying, but I also feel like, get good. People gotta learn somehow, and sometimes you gotta get your ass kicked to get better, and that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to be humbled to get better, and that's how you learn, and that's how it is sometimes. Maybe it's not for certain people, maybe you're just gifted and this and that, yada yada, whatever, but at the end of the day, I feel like that's just kind of a weak excuse and reason to also kind of just give up on the card game. And now to kind of give my thoughts about Fusion Worlds. And I will say, I'll throw up this screenshot right here, because if you go look at the Dragon Ball Super card game official website, they do have this link that goes and shows you all the Fusion World stuff and products that they have planned out. This is where I got my information about the product that's going to be released in February. And I, saw one particular words of text that really caught my attention with this. And if you see at the very bottom, underneath the rarities, it says alternate art versions, of these cards, or whatever other word that they said, I can't remember at this time. But, I feel like they're hinting at that there could be alternate art cards for the secret rares, super rares or whatever it is, and like all the other kind of cards. And I feel like, maybe they're kind of going in the route of like One Piece, Pokemon, that kind of stuff. And I feel like if that's the case, and they like, if the textures of these cards look really good, if, the cards are like, characters and, forms and stuff that we really want, and they just, do this card game right, we get alternate arts, the textures are still there, this and that, everyone's just happy with this card game. I definitely feel like Masters is going to get swept under the rug, fall to the wayside. I feel like there's always going to be that like hardcore community for it. And I mean, we'll talk into a little bit more aspect of that, but like if this card game, gets really popular and, it takes over, I could definitely see Bandai just being like, we're done, producing and manufacturing, the Dragon Ball Super card game Masters. We just want to focus on Fusion Worlds now. And with that being said, with that being a possibility, they also said in the video that the producer was talking, how they said they wanted and planned on continuing to, produce Masters and this and that. So potentially saying we will have two Dragon Ball Super card game, to collect. And while that could be cool, while that could be interesting, I also feel like it's like one's gotta go. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, we have Super Dragon Ball Heroes card game, and we have the Dragon Ball Super card game, and like those are two totally different things. I should also mention that, this new Fusion Worlds will also have like a new art style, and I've heard my buddy Gravity J, when I was talking to him about it, he kind of told me how the art style was more kind of leaning towards like what One Piece is and everything. And I've never opened One Piece, or like I've seen a couple of the cards and stuff like that, but I can understand where he's coming from. And I feel like, I've heard the textures and stuff for those cards really aren't the best for like the alternate arts and stuff like that. So if they are going in that direction, are we going to lose like, our really nice textures and stuff that we have in like our secret rares and the SPRs that they've been doing so good here in these recent sets? I really just, I am a little worried, I won't lie, because I really don't know exactly what to think. Am I excited for this new card game? Currently, I'm just kind of up in the air about it. I know if I, say I'm negative about it, I'm just like, oh, I don't care, I think this is stupid, wah, 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 I think this is so dumb, I don't care to pay into this and blah, blah, blah. I know if I say all that, later in the future, if they really do this card game right, and the secret rares are awesome, the textures are cool, we start getting alternate arts, because I voiced how I wish they would start doing that and kind of do something like what Pokemon's doing. But if they finally start doing that, I just didn't expect them to make a whole new card game just to do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really feel like they needed to do that. The digital client not coming for, the regular base game and stuff like that, I feel like is also going to be a huge hit, and then just giving up on it because it was just too hard. I feel like it's a little, kind of ridiculous because they released a whole beta for it and all this kind of stuff, and it's just, where is the state of the Dragon Ball Super card game going? Can we have two existing, card games at the same time, and whenever they say, oh yeah, we're still going to keep doing Masters and this and that, it's like, well, you also said you were going to give us a digital version of Masters, but now you're saying we're not getting that at all. It was too hard to make because of the erratas, the banned cards, and blah, blah, blah. Like, should we, leave these cards out and act like they don't exist in the digital card game, but, the digital card game will be a completely different game from the, the physical version. So, this and that, we can't do it, yada, yada. Let's make a whole new one. And I'm just like, that's really the direction you thought was best to go in? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's lazy. I feel like it's, them just trying to make more money in a way, because it's like, look, all right, we're going to make a new card game, new art styles, now you can just buy all the same cards that we've made just, again, because we ran out of ideas. I don't know. Like, there's so much more things and cool stuff they could have done with the Dragon Ball Super card game Masters, and there's still so much more they can do, and, they're starting to head in the right track and stuff, but it's just like, I don't think this was the right move. I really don't. I could be wrong later on. I could be really excited and really love the new card game and this and that. If they continue to produce, Masters, I'll definitely, keep making, content about it on my channel. But if it eventually gets to the point where I have to choose one or the other, or if if Masters dies and I don't like, Fusion World, and I just have to find something else to do for my channel, or collect something else, or just get old Masters product and just try and, pull old stuff that I really don't have for my collection. Like, that's maybe something I could do, but, with Fusion World taking over, and if Master dies and it just stops being produced whatsoever, that could mean, the prices for those could really go up. So now, should you sell your collections right now if you have a skilled collection? I mean, I don't know. Like, it's such a gamble right now. There's the aspect of it to where you could sell your entire collection, thinking that if Fusion Worlds takes over and becomes way more popular, and, Masters falls to the wayside, and, now they're not producing that product anymore, but there's still those die-hard fans for it. Is there going to be really a market for it whenever the market for it now currently really isn't the greatest? Like, there are obviously still some cards, like the signature rares, god rares, stuff like that, certain secret rares and this and that, but still, usually the prices for most of this stuff, including the sealed product, usually goes down in price over time. So it's like, is a new card game coming out and taking over going to make, all the old product go skyrocketing in price because they're not producing it anymore? Like, you could think that, but if the new card game is being successful and they're stopping the old one, that kind of makes you think, why are people going to care about buying all the old stuff if the new stuff is being successful, and they could just buy that instead? So maybe, the master stuff will just be like completely worthless. All the value for everything will just plummet, and people will just be stuck with stuff they don't know what to do with, and, this and that. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of, that's where my mind's at right now. It's like, we can either hold on to our sealed collections and all the stuff that we have, and, like, if you're more of a person who's all about worried about money and stuff, if you're worried about oh, should I sell my collection now so I don't lose out on too much of my value because I want to eventually try and sell it all back for this and that, whatever your reasons may be. I don't know. I don't want to say sell your whole collection because if Fusion Worlds takes over, Masters isn't going to matter. But I feel like there's always going to be those people that absolutely love Masters in the original Dragon Ball Super card game, but it's kind of up in the air right now. I don't really know, but definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. I don't want to keep just repeating myself. I think this is just definitely an interesting turn for the Dragon Ball Super card game. I did not expect that countdown timer for them to just be like, hey, look, new card game and stuff. That was definitely a curveball in my opinion, but definitely let me know down in the comment section your thoughts so we can have a discussion on it. Like the video if you guys enjoyed or found it informative, or just like hearing me ramble about stuff. And subscribe to the channel so you guys don't miss out on all the content we're going to be doing. I am really wanting to buy another case of Zenkai Series 5 just because I feel like it'd be really fun to do that before the new card game drops, and just in case I don't like it in this and that. But like I was saying, all the facts that I was going through earlier, I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens if the God Rares is Super Saiyan Gogeta from the Fusion Reborn movie like I'm expecting it to be. I probably will buy another case. But yeah, that's going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble about some shiny cardboard. Sorry if this video was super long. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Now we'll catch you guys in